Hey folks, what a view behind me. I'm at Black Bull Markets headquarters here in Auckland, New Zealand. Speaking of views, you can get TradingView paid plans for free at Black Bull Markets, saving you up to $600 a year. That's right, get either the Essential, Plus or Premium plans absolutely free, and all you need to do is trade from one lot a month at Black Bull Markets. And you can also get a 100% deposit bonus for your first deposit up to $1,000. All you need to do is click the Trading Nut link in the description below. You've probably heard me talking about trading with confidence, and honestly, it's a lot easier when you're not risking your own money. That's why I wanted to mention Blue Guardian. They offer instant funding or a challenge to get you started, and up to $400k in funding, weekly payouts and a 90% profit split, and they've already paid out over 15 million to traders around the world. Plus, they're sponsoring Birmingham City FC and Chris Eubank Jr., so you know they're serious about backing performance. Check them out at blueguardian.com or check the link in the description.
I guess you guys couldn't hear me the whole time. That's crazy. But let me do that again. So my name is Blake, aka Brinks Trades. If you guys are watching, again, I'm the resident indices analyst for the Trading Nut podcast. Where I come on here every week and I break down the charts for you guys. And so basically across all of the indices and currency pairs across the Forex and future space. I started in Forex in 2015 and now I'm in the future space. And so basically what I want to do for you guys today and what I do every week is to come on here and break down the charts and what I think is going to happen over the next week of price action, right? And so it really kind of gives everybody kind of a game plan going into next week. And so I've been doing this for, again, a decade. So I've seen a lot of different ups and downs in markets. I first started trading in 2015, 2016, right around the time of Brexit, when the UK government decided that they were going to leave, and then traded through a lot of that stuff. So ups and downs in the euro and the currencies came through, obviously the pandemic and everything. And then, going into a lot of this turbulence that's happened over the past couple of years. So I've seen a lot of different markets, up and down cycles. And I think you got to be able to see that as a trader. You got to be able to look at different charts, different assets, and kind of see what the market is showing you. So recently I've taken 2 FTMO challenges. If you guys don't know, FTMO is a huge prop firm in the space, and they recently came back to America and allowed US traders to be a part of that. And so I'm taking 2 challenges with them, and I'm going to show you guys before I hop in. But before I do that, if you guys are watching, feel free to drop in the comments where you're from and where you're calling in from, because again, I think this is really cool. This is a global channel. It's a global stream. and you guys can really, you know, learn a lot from traders around the world and see traders from around the world. And this is something that I tell everybody to take advantage of, because I didn't have this when I first started trading. I saw a couple people on YouTube with a couple videos, and I figured they knew everything, and I bought their courses and lost money, right? And so you guys are in the pretty much the golden age of trading right now, where there's a ton of accessibility, there's a ton of prop firms, there's a ton of brokers, there's a ton of information and education out there. And so obviously not all of it's good, but there's a ton of information out there. So there's not really an excuse as to why you can't be a trader. And I've seen traders, I've had a chance to talk to traders in the retail space, and then traders that are actually professional traders. And a lot of them say that there's not as much differences as you think, right? Between these hedge funds and us. And so what you see on a day-to-day basis is really, that. So basically, what, you know, if you guys can see here, these are some of the accounts that I've been trading over the past couple weeks, and I want to give an update on a couple of them. So first and foremost, there is an FTMO challenge that was passed. I'll show you guys the details on this one. This was the FTMO challenge that was passed for the second phase. So I remember I'm working on 2 of these accounts currently, right? And so they each have a phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1, you got to make 10%. Phase 2, you got to make 5%, right? And there's no time limit. And but I was able to start this account on the 20 or the 4th and pass it on the 25th. That was one of the accounts, right? So that was the phase 1 for the one of the accounts there. And then the second, there's 2 of them I'm still working on, which is the verification for the second account, or the first account, which I actually passed. Technically, I passed it in terms of the equity curve and the equity limit right there. So this is the second phase, where you need to make 5% in a day, or 5% a day, 5% overall. And so I was able to reach that 5%. The only thing I'm waiting on still is the minimum amount of trading days. I need to have 4 trading days. So as soon as I place a trade tomorrow when the markets open up, I will officially pass that, and I'll drop a chart in my trading Discord, which is the Talented 10th, and basically show you guys that I was able to pass that account, right? But able to stay above the maximum loss, the profit targets, and pretty much pass this in like 3 days, actually. So I found a really good setup and said, okay, I'm going to take this and really ride this out, and was able to close it out for, you know, a pretty big profit, right? And so my strategy with these accounts is that I know how to manage them. I'm a really good trader. And so I know how to manage risk when I get funded, right? And so for me, it's, you know, I'm asking myself, how quickly can I get funded? How quickly can I get to that funded stage, so that therefore I can have that capital and really start working towards my actual goals, which is, you know, having access to this capital to get paid, right? And so my goal is to max out FTMO, and then I'm gonna start moving to the prop firms. And I think it's gonna be really cool to show you guys these updates as I'm doing these things in real time. But pretty much, you know, 3 out of 4 stages to 200K in funding, right? So the second account that I'm working on right now is in the verification stage. So again, that's that phase 2. Phase 1 is the challenge, right? Pass. You had a couple back in the day that I didn't pass right there, and some other ones that I did pass. So you guys can see the authenticity right there. But this is the last challenge taken, was 2023 with FTMO. So I grabbed this one right here. Again, passed it. Second one, passed it as well. 10,000, 10,000. Passed the second phase of that first challenge. And then the verification right now, which I started it officially. I started it yesterday. I just took a very small trade because I wanted the minimum trading days to start counting, right? So technically I am 10 cents in drawdown, right? So it's whatever though. But basically just wanted to make sure that I had an extra day on the books, so I didn't you know, waste any extra time when I actually do hit the challenges and pass the numbers, hit the numbers that I need, right? So that's going to be fun to watch that one. But, you know, officially got 1 account out of 4 in the books. Once I get 200K in funding, then I'm going to start probably just buying 200K challenges from here on out. And so basically every time I pass something, I'll pretty much be doubling the amount of funding that I have. So really cool opportunity. But let's go ahead and get into the charts. So let me remove this and then share over this right here. So what are we looking at on the charts today? What are we looking at the charts today? And again, if you guys are calling in and watching, feel free to comment where you're looking at from. But you know, someone asked me, like, why do you give out so much free game, right, on YouTube, and why do you kind of come here every week and talk a little bit about this stuff? Well, and give out so much for free when you could just be holding this and trying to, you know, basically sell it for some, you know, for X amount of dollars, right? And I do have a community where I mentor students, right? But a lot of this game is free game, right? I'm giving this out, putting this out publicly on YouTube. And the number one reason that I do this is because I want to show people, I want to be transparent in this game. I think there's a lot of people that are shady. I think there's a lot of people that are not actually making money from trading and they're trying to sell a course. And so I want to be able to show people that that there is an authenticity to trading, right? There's an authentic aspect of trading, and there's people that are actually doing what they say they can do, right? And so I want to be a beacon of light in this industry and let people know that there is an opportunity for you to actually, you know, work towards some of your income goals through trading, right? Obviously, nothing's guaranteed. I can't promise you anything. Income disclosure, right? You know, past performance doesn't indicate future performance, right? And I can't tell you that you're going to make money doing this, but there are people that are actively passing challenges, getting paid, taking live accounts, right? And so that's the number one reason. The second reason is that I do want to work for a hedge fund one day, whether that be my own hedge fund or a you know, an actual mainstream, you know, traditional hedge fund. And so I want to be able to show people a track record that I know that I've been able to call out. And if you go back and watch some of the YouTube lives, I leave these things up. These are up every week for the most part for the last 2 years. I've been working, or maybe 2 or 3 years at this point. I don't remember. But you know, every week pretty much coming on here and calling out what I think is going to happen in the next week. And so I'm building that track record, which hopefully, in addition to this, the funding that I'm getting from the companies and being able to show a record of payouts, you know, this will put me in a position that I can go, you know, audition for a hedge fund one day. So, or start my own. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here. So ideally, this is a skill. Again, it's been 10 years of this, so day in and day out for a long time. And I just think it's fun. This helps me get my stuff knocked out for the next week. This is basically my homework going into Monday. So coming into dollar index, again, the reason that we start with dollar index is because if we understand where dollar is headed, you know, we can understand that there is a correlation between dollar and all the other assets. So we can figure that out, and we can use that to our advantage when the next week hits. So basically, we called out this idea that the market swept liquidity here and wanted to start heading towards opposite liquidity. And so one of the things that I noticed here was this trendline liquidity. So I called out this idea that the market wants to trade back into this overall fair value gap. As you can see here, the market did trade into this initial imbalance here back in August, early August, and kind of wicked out of that and went lower. But it did start building up these lower highs here. So I figured the market does want to attack this. What I'm looking for the market to actually do this next week is I would like to see the market trade back into this overall imbalance and go higher and continue on with that trend that we've been calling out. The reason for this is, again, because this liquidity sweep here, and then the market starts heading in an opposite direction. So ideally, that's what I would like to see on dollar. Again, I'm looking for the market to really attack this trend line liquidity, and then once it gets into this range, then I got to get flat. I'm not too sure what could happen. We could take this level and then keep going back down. We could come back up to this high or keep running through, right? So what I'm trying to not do is over project. But if I had to, like, gun to head put a scenario out, I would like to see something like this where we end up trading back to this range and then turn around and break in structure, because nothing's really changed geopolitically. If anything, stuff's gotten worse. So that's ideally what I would like to see. And then, you know, continue on with this downtrend. But this sweep of this wick is very, 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 very high. It's a very, very big wick that price swept out. So ideally, I'm not too sure, to be honest with you, but I do know that once the price hits this level, I do want to get flat and then kind of see what we're giving, what we're, you know, as far as market opportunities go. So that's what I'm going to be looking for on dollar. If we go to euro, right, same idea, just in the inverse. So euro USD is the one that I'm looking at because we are trading a lot of Forex right now in currency charts. So ideally, what I want to see here is the market the market really did give us a very clean breaking structure, right? So not only did we take out this old high here, we swept this. My students are going to recognize a particular setup that I talk about from time to time, right? So we came up here, swept these highs, and then not only swept the highs here, but then broke structure as well, right? And so there's a couple things here that I like, a couple things that I'm going to be noting going into next week. Is the first thing that I'm noting is this market, how it's respecting consequent encroachment. I don't want to see that for a bearish trend. I do want to see this invert. I do like the fact that we did form a series of imbalances here, right? As well as an order block there. So I'm going to note all of that. But ideally, I do want to see the market tend to reattack this high going into next week and continue its bearish trend. We will be watching how it respects that consequent encroachment middle 50% of that range. So ideally, that fair value gap that starts at 1.7090. That's what I want to see the market potentially attack and then go lower. So to continue on and go to these lows. So that's what I want to see first and foremost. The second thing that I want to check out is GBP USD. And ideally, what I want to see here is the market do something similar, right? We did sweep these or take this low. We did hit our overall target. I called this out to my mentorship group on Sunday. Every Sunday, I do a call with them to kind of talk a little bit about some of the things that they're struggling with, and some of the things that they actually want to improve on. And so for me, that's really important because it's not important just to learn a strategy, right? You have to know the strategy in and out, but you also have to know the thought process that goes into the strategy when making these calls and making these plays, right? So you need to think about it how I would see the charts, right? And so it's just not enough to know that I buy here, sell here, right? You need to be able to think and manage these scenarios out. So ideally, my target here was this one. And so I told my group on Sunday that this setup I liked a lot better than Euro. There was a lot more conviction that this is going to go bearish, right? And so coming into the next week, we have a fair value gap right there, right, that we formed. And this is a very similar setup. Again, there's nothing that's really changed that we can say we have to bet against this idea of going bearish. If I do go to the weekly time frame though, right, we start to see some wicks, and I'm going to get rid of this so you can see, but I'm starting to see some wicks off of this level. We did take out the weekly low there, so this could be a sweep to go higher. We don't really know. This is kind of consolidated, but ideally, we want to keep running lower, and we have to stick with that idea of bearishness until something in the market tells us otherwise, right? We might be a daily week of break of structure, it might be a daily inversion, but as of right now, we want to see the market continue to go lower, right? And I'm gonna get rid of this so we can see this a little better, but ideally, we want to keep running lower. So ideally, I want to see the market trade back up into this range, maybe take out the high of Friday, and then go lower. All right, so something like this. But I'm really happy about this target being hit. This was a very clean call out and something you love to see, right? So that's awesome. So I'm going to be looking at the low of last week as the first primary target, just because we did sweep this and go higher. So I want to see if we can get back down here. And then secondly, we are trading in this overall BISI here, which you might not have seen. So in that, we did respect consequent encroachment of that as well. So that we did get a sharp reaction. So I want to see how we treat this. Are we going to go higher into these gaps? Are we going to respect this one and keep going lower? There technically is a volume imbalance from this close of this candle to the high of this candle. So I'm going to be watching all those things. But ideally, if we get through this low, I'm really going to be looking at the next low, which is either this overall low here, which is a longer term target. But as of right now, this is ideally what I want to see happen. And so if we don't see something like this, then it's going to make me kind of take a step back. So that's the first thing. Second thing is I've added New Zealand dollar to the list. I like how this one's been moving. Ideally, a couple weeks ago, you guys know I came to the terminal with an idea for this to go higher. This is New Zealand dollar futures, but same thing, same chart. So ideally, I said I wanted to see this run higher, and we got about halfway there and decided that the market was going to keep going against us and turn around and break structure and go the other way. So we're pretty much back to that bearish idea that we're seeing on Euro and GBP. So all of those XXX USD pairs are starting to do the same thing. So ideally, we're firmly bullet bearish in this. I want to see if the market will retest this fair value gap, maybe even as high as this one, and then continue to go lower. I'm going to be looking at this overall fair value gap as a first primary target. I'm going to say first target FVG. And then really the low. I mean, the two other levels that I'm looking at, or the other level this week. So yes, that's what I'm looking at. For New Zealand dollar. Let me go and see if there's any comments. There's no comments. Cool. It's a quiet session today. So if you guys have questions, feel free to drop them in. It's all good. It's one of the reasons why I do this. Australian dollar, kind of the same scenario. Very much bearish, but not as clean as the other ones. So I'm going to leave that off the list. USD JPY has been in this really crazy wedge pattern for the last few months. I think it's going to keep being like this probably for the rest of the year. So this is not on my watch list at all. Yeah. So let's look at the indices. So I said I wanted to see a few things play out. Coming into last week, we go back here, jump down the daily time frame. I said I wanted to see the market trade back into this fair value gap and then go higher, but this was pretty much a very high run, and we probably weren't going to see a ton of stuff here. So I'll zoom in and show you guys. This is last Monday. I said ideally I want to see the market trade back into this gap and then find a reason to continue to go higher, and that's what we look like we're seeing. That's what we look like we're going to get here. So trading into this fair value gap at the 25,000 or 24,549 level, all the way up to the 24,659 level. Respect to consequent encroachment of that, I would be looking at the targets. Ideally, maybe best case scenario, we retest the high of this on Monday, but then I'd be looking at that to take to the highs. That's the only trade setup that I really could frame out on NASDAQ. We're so close to the all-time highs that it's big range. Let's go to ES. Same idea on ES. We dove into this gap. I think if I pull this up, yeah, there you go. So there was this huge volume imbalance here. So I said I wanted to see the market respect that, and definitely consequent encroachment of that. So we ended up taking out the highs and spending the rest of the week trading into that gap there. So mitigated all that and then respecting it. So best case scenario for a trade, I want to see it hit the high at 6,665 and then take it to the highs right there. That's ideally what I would love to see on YM or on ES or dollar or US500, the S&P, and then down to YM, right? Young money. Ideally, I want to see the market again. Same thing as the rest of them. We did trade into those gaps. Jump another 4 hour there. We mitigated all that. I would like us to stay retest consequent encroachment of this 4 hour gap right here, or this 4 hour wick right here. Or come back down and touch the high end of that gap. I don't think we'll do that though. So I'm going to look there. and see something like this. Take 47,000, right? That's ideally what I want to see. We did invert this fair value gap as well. And we're currently staying above the 50% level of that. So that's a good idea to go higher is what I would like us to see. Something like this over the week. Oops. I'm going to stop right there. This is not a great RR. Or something like that. You know, for the week, obviously I'm not trading this exactly like this. I'm finding short setups. And I tell my students this all the time, that I'm not swing trading most of these, right? Like every once in a while I find a swing trading setup, and I do want to get better at that. But for the most part, I'm just trying to find a good trade setup between the low of the week, in this case, to the high of the week. And if it was a bearish week, then, you know, the high of the week to the low of the week, right? I'm not actually trying to swing trade and hold this entire thing. And I say that a lot because I think sometimes people think that I'm trying to trade all of this and hold this for the entire range. That's not true at all. These time frames are way too big for the amount of contracts or lot sizes that I put on the trade. So I'm not trying to do all that. So jumping back to the daily again, same idea, right? In somewhere, if the market comes back up and taps this high, oops. Right. I would say somewhere in this range, I'm looking to find at least one good trade, right? It might be the whole run. It might be the whole run. It might be, you know, a piece of the run, right? But, you know, I'm just trying to find one or two good trade setups in this and call it a week. If you guys look at my actual trading, I try not to overtrade. Right now, I probably am slightly over trading and over leveraging a little bit because of the challenges. But when you see me actually trade funded accounts or my own personal, I'm very conservative with the amount that I'm risking. One, because I don't want to have to do this again, right? Like this phase that I'm going through right now, passing all of these CFD firms or these currency firms. I'm not trying to do this again. So once I get fully funded with however many millions that I'm trying to get funded with, I'm not going to be out here risking these, you know, and the idea here is just to take a little bit and a lot of capital and make a little bit on it, right? If you think about big banks and hedge funds, they have a lot of capital and they're trying to get 10% gains. Well, I did a 10% gain in the last week, 5% gain, right? That's half of what the big firms are doing, but that's not sustainable, right? And so, you know, over time, you need to dial back your risk and get as much capital as possible if you really want to hit certain profit targets for your personal, you know, account and growth. And so that's what I'm going to be doing over the next few months. That is my goal. So I hope that you guys are enjoying this, and I don't have anything else for you guys. So I will stay on for a couple of minutes for any questions, but I will obviously do, my usual pitch of the Talented 10th, right? So again, if you guys follow me on social media, please follow me on all social media, Brinks Trades. But then also Talented 10th is my trading community. So talent10trading.com. If you guys check this out, you can go and join my free Discord. And this basically, you know, is the link to the landing page there. But the actual free Discord is here. So you guys can see I'm in a lot of Discords because I wanted to learn how to frame my own personal Discord out right. So ideally here, this is the lab. This is basically where I come in and mentor all of our students. But the general, I'll come back to that in a second. The general chat here basically is where I show all of the updates of, you know, things that are going on in the chat, and really show, you know, just some updates, right? Updates to the trades that or the projections that I'm calling out, right? Trade results, if I'm passing challenges, right? Any updates, students come on here, talk about what they're learning, you know, in just a general sense. The lab is where everything actually goes down. This is where my detailed analysis is coming in. This is where I'm telling people my actual execution ideas and what I think the market is going to do. Again, this is for educational purposes only, because I believe that if you really want to learn a trading strategy, you have to understand the thought process, right? And so this is all I'm trying to impart onto everybody in here is, you know, the thought process of how I see the markets and how you guys can take these concepts and apply them, right? And so a lot of this comes with markups, and it comes with understanding, you know, exactly what I'm thinking in a given scenario. So hopefully enough time passes, you see this day in and day out, week in and week out, over, you know, days, months, weeks, years, you can start to do the same thing. And so one of the things that I also tell my students is, you know, I want you guys to beat me to these weekend calls, right? And so I tell them this all the time, like, beat me to the weekend calls. And hold on one second. Yep. So I said, beat me to the weekend calls, right? I want these calls. I don't want these calls to be a crutch for you. I don't want you waiting on what Blake is going to do for his analysis, right? I want you guys to be able to come up with this own analysis and almost use these calls as a cheat sheet, right? And so you can only really do that if you understand the concepts, you understand the strategies, you know, and what exactly I'm seeing on the charts on a week-to-week basis, right? And so with that, that's why this, you know, the mentorship is so important. So right now, that's the one thing that I would say is, you know, again, you know, if I had access to some of this stuff back when I first started trading, I had mentors. There's definitely people that helped me on my trading journey and helped me understand things, but they were never this accessible, right? They were never this accessible and able for me to, like, basically talk to them at any given point when I was learning, right? And so there's a lot there. There's a lot there. And so I provide a lot of value. In addition to all this stuff, I do a Sunday call, right? Like I mentioned this before, where I basically take everybody's things they're struggling with and how they're seeing the charts, and just kind of get their feel for the week. How was their week? You know, the wins, the areas for improvement, right? All that stuff, and take that and, you know, give them a lot of feedback. If they need help with the concept, we'll talk about it, right? I break down all of my trades that I take for them so they can see basically what I'm thinking again in real time, right, as it happens. So not only do they have the videos, or so they have the actual me talking through everything, where I'm literally saying, "Hey, morning, everybody." So this is a higher time, right? So I'm coming on here either typing or talking about what's going on. But then I'm also, you know, making sure that they can see how stuff is playing out in real time if they weren't able to be around their Discord while stuff is going on. I try to go live too as well. I actually ended up going live last week and was able to pass the second FTMO challenge, or sorry, the first FTMO challenge verification. So fully funded, at least 100K. Again, as of tomorrow, when I take that last little day traded to, you know, meet the minimum day requirement. But basically was able to do that on live, and then basically talk about how I was managing that trade all the way through. That was a really cool one. So again, being able to get exposed to how I think about things. And the last and most important piece is a WAP course, right? And so with the WAP, WOOP or WAP, or however it's pronounced, right? Basically, Talented 10th redirects you as a paid member. You get access to the course where I have all of my videos, and you can see exactly how my strategy comes together, and basically everything that I've learned over the past decade compressed into a easy to digest series of videos. All of the Sunday calls get uploaded there as well, and I'm behind on that, so I need to upload those still. I keep saying this, but all of those Sunday calls are recorded and saved so they can reference those moments again as well. So there's a lot of value that's being provided here for the traders. And so again, I dropped the link there, talent10trading.com. But you know, if you guys are interested in checking that out, please do so. I also want to shout out one last thing on the stream. Cam, who is the person that runs this this chat, he came to me and said, oops. He came to me and said that he wanted me to shout out something. So I'm going to shout out something that he's got going on right now. But he's basically running a trading challenge for the, let's see, a demo trading challenge. There's going to be 44 chances to win, plus a 1K prize for early entries. It does close on October 1st. So if you guys are interested in this, but it's basically in partnership with Black Bull, which is the brokerage, and then the Trading Nut podcast, a 10K demo challenge competition. So basically, I think whoever can take a 10K demo account and raise it to however, the highest percentage or the highest income on that, that's something that's going to be going on too. So I'm going to share, actually going to share this to, how am I going to share this? I'm going to share this to, send this to me, and I'm going to pull it up really quickly so you guys can see it, and then we'll call it a session. So let me drop it right here. We'll post it so you guys can see it, and then we'll call it a session. So again, if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to hop in this. But yeah, this is basically the Black Bull and Trading Nut demo competition. Basically, you can join this and show off your skills in a demo environment. And I think he said there was a prize pool of 10K, but I think there's like a 1K prize. I don't know if there's some challenge accounts that they're giving away as well. But basically, this is a really cool opportunity with Black Bull, the trading firm, and then Trading Nut, who obviously Cam is, is one of the leaders in this podcast space, this podcast trading space. So it's been really cool working with him over the past couple of years. Awesome dude, really genuine. So again, I tell people all the time that, it's been really cool going from the person that watched all of his interviews, right, with Q and Lambo and all these guys back in the day, and now actually partnering with them on a regular basis is pretty cool. So yes, check that out. I'm going to drop the link right here so you guys can check that out. And if you're interested, go ahead and check it all out. So that's all I got for you guys. Yeah, if you need to follow me, I'll stay on for a couple minutes, but follow me on all social media. Follow me on YouTube. I need the subscribers. This Brinks Trades, right? So that's the number one thing that I want to grow is my YouTube channel. So if you're not there, follow me there. So again, I'll let you guys go, but I'm on here for the next couple of minutes. If you have any other questions, general trading questions, could be one you want me to look at a chart, I'm good for the next 5 minutes, and then I'm off. So I'm gonna turn my screen off, but I'm still here. So mute my screen. Let me know if there are any questions. So Sergeant KLR says, or I think SGT KLR says, I gold and GU. So I did do GU. I didn't do gold. So let me pull up that real quick. I bet you it's probably going to be not close or similar to the situation we were in. I guess not. So last week with gold, right? Daily time frame, right? You can see that we have been making all-time highs. And so this pretty much counts for the entirety of everything that's trading near all-time highs. I think I saw somebody talk about gold as a projection of 6,000 or 5,000 or something like that over the next few years or next year or so because of everything that's going on. So first things first, I don't talk about fundamentals a lot, and we could talk about what's going on fundamentally, but fundamentals, a lot of traders who just focus on technicals talk about like how fundamentals don't really mean anything and how they're just opportunities for liquidity. And some of that is partially true, but you got to understand geoeconomically where we're at and why, what makes this market sprout up like this, right? Because even if we're looking at the price action, which is the day-to-day delivery of price, there's still an underlying narrative that's going on, right? So you don't have to always pay attention to the numbers that are coming out, right? But I would recommend that you understand geopolitically where we're at, right? And so one of the reasons that gold is shooting up right now is just because we're in an uncertain time, right? There's a lot of things going on economically, a lot of things politically that could pop off that could change the game in any minute, right? We have a president that introduced tariffs, right? And the tariffs are still not like that conversation is not fully fleshed out or fully developed. And so there's still a lot of gray area as far as what might happen there. And so a lot of companies are nervous about that, which could lead to, changes in the S&P, right? But because normal investors or investors in general are uncertain about the time, that usually leads to a lot of growth in gold, right? And gold is usually thought of as a safe haven and an asset that you can throw your money into. You're not going to lose money. You're not going to lose value. And so if you look at gold over the past, if you look at gold over the past 10, 15 years, going back all the way to like 2008, right, you can see that gold only really jumps during times of uncertainty, right, and volatility, right? There's a huge jump in 2020, right? This was 2020. Obviously, we know what happened in 2020, right? Then the last couple of years, pretty much from the beginning of the election cycle last year, so early January, all the way through gold right now. I mean, gold basically jumped from 2,000 as its all-time high in 2020 to almost 4,000, right? And most of that was done last year. Gold was trading at 1,800 at the beginning of last year. Well, it's trading at about $2,000. So in a year, the price of gold has doubled. And historically, it's taken a long time to do this, right? It's been, we have charts that go back years, decades, right? Going back to 1975, the price of gold was like $100, right? So $3,800 is where gold is currently at. So knowing all that stuff, you got to stay bullish, right? You got to stay bullish on dollar because nothing's changed, right? So ideally, I'm not looking to short gold. There might be short-term opportunities, but in the long term, you're going to lose money trying to short gold. So with that being said, overall target for this week, I would love to see the market respect this fair value gap here and then find a reason to keep going higher, right? So I'll be watching this and how this plays out. If we sweep this high first, we could see us come back down to a range. But ideally, I'd love for us to retest this fair value gap right there and then go higher. So that's what I'd like to see on gold. And so take out the high of 3,825, trading back into this fair value gap right there. If I jump down to the 4-hour time frame, we are trading back into small imbalance there. It's very strong. I wouldn't be surprised if we came back down here and swept these lows and then turned around and went higher. So that's ideally what I would like to see. I'd like gold to stay bullish. We are very much in a premium or very much in a extended high though, so we could see some retracement back to the mean of this price swing. So we'll cross that if we get there. My idea is invalidated if we close below really this fair value gap here. There's two in this range. So if we close below that 3,700 level, my idea is probably invalid. So that's what I'll be watching for. So best case scenario, we retest this high and then take it out. So that's what I'm thinking for gold. Ever traded USAR? I have no idea what USAR is. I'm not gonna lie to you. When it comes to the charts, people are always trying to find like the most exotic pairs. South African Rand. I've never traded that. Are you that's a random pair. Are you from South Africa? Because that might answer a question there. But I know a lot of times people try to trade like the most random pairs. I would stick to the majors and some of the crosses of those majors. Once you start getting to the exotics, they start getting more expensive. I have it on my chart though. Wait a second, let me get rid of this. USD, I forgot to renew my trading view subscription, so yeah, I can't even pull it up. So I gotta upgrade to do that. So when I upgrade, maybe I'll pull it back up and look at it again. But as of right now, that's the one that I'm not really paying attention to. I've never traded that in my life. So but if I could pull it up, I'll break it down for you. So but never traded it. I usually stay towards majors and crosses when it comes to currency stuff. Indices, obviously NASDAQ is my main asset. So yeah. So it looks like that was the only question that came in, or series of questions. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this. If you guys hopefully got a lot of value out of this, again, if you don't have anything better to do, subscribe to all the social media, the YouTube, and then join the Discord, right? It's a free game. The way I see it is more game is the more free game, the better, right? So you take advantage of it while you can. So that's all I got for you guys. So hopefully you enjoy it, and catch you on the next call. Peace.
Hey folks, what a view behind me. I'm at Black Bull Markets headquarters here in Auckland, New Zealand. Speaking of views, you can get TradingView paid plans for free at Black Bull Markets, saving you up to $600 a year. That's right, get either the Essential, Plus or Premium plans absolutely free, and all you need to do is trade from one lot a month at Black Bull Markets. And you can also get a 100% deposit bonus for your first deposit up to $1,000. All you need to do is click the Trading Nut link in the description below. Hey, if you like futures because of the tight spreads and clear setups, go check out Blue Guardian Futures. They let you start trading futures with up to $450K in funding. The best part, you keep 100% of your first $15K in profits, then 90% after that. No activation fees, weekly payouts, and they're sponsoring Chris Eubank Jr. and Birmingham City FC. Go take a look at blueguardianfutures.com or click the link in the description.